Okay, well, welcome everyone to the Poplar Creek Phase B question and answer session. It is 5 o'clock. I think we're going to give folks just a couple of more minutes to make sure we don't have anyone late joining. I will go ahead and put up the opening slide just as a placeholder. But let's give everyone a couple of minutes and then we'll get started. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and get started this evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Quarter Q Route 460 121 Poplar Creek Phase B question and answer session. This question and answer session is for the Poplar Creek Phase B project located in Buchanan County, Virginia. Our agenda this evening includes a brief presentation followed by a question and answer session. This session is intended to be informal and offer opportunities for the public to interact with our project team. Tonight's session is being streamed live and recorded on our VDOT Live YouTube channel, and the recording will be available publicly in the coming days at the project webpage, which is virginiadot.org/Poplar Creek Phase B. So throughout our presentation this evening, attendees will be muted until we reach the question and answer session. This question and answer session is separate from the design, location, and design public hearing, which is scheduled for 1 week from today on May the 18th, also at 5 p.m. Now, we're not producing a transcript from tonight's Q&A, so it'll not be included in the public hearing record. However, I'll go over with you how you can get your questions submitted as part of the public hearing record. So there are multiple methods to do that, and we'll review those several times throughout this evening's session. The primary purpose of this project is to construct approximately 1.86 miles of two-lane highway, which will complete Quarter Q in Virginia and connect Route 460 at the Kentucky state line with existing Route 460 in Grundy. The focus of this meeting will be the Poplar Creek Phase B section, which begins near Route 604, which is Poplar Creek Road, and ends at the connection to existing Route 460 in Grundy. The project will include one bridge which crosses the Labasa Fork River near the present location of Hardee's. The new construction roadway will tie into existing Route 460 near the current location of Hardee's Restaurant. An at-grade intersection will be constructed to accommodate motorists traveling west along existing Route 460 to Kentucky. Existing Route 460 will remain open to two-way traffic during construction of the project. Flaggers will direct traffic through two temporary detours along existing Route 460. The main goal of the project is improving connections to upgrade transportation systems, which will improve safety and capacity. Completion of Quarter Q will allow for additional economic development in the region. Phase B will improve travel times between Grundy and Pikeville, Kentucky. The new construction, limited access highway will provide improvements in safety and capacity over the current routes. As the design is developed, VDOT will determine what right-of-way and easements will be needed to accommodate the construction. Property owners will be notified of the exact location of the right-of-way and easements that are needed during the right-of-way acquisition process and prior to construction. Right-of-way acquisition is anticipated to begin in the summer of 2021. The proposed design for the project requires approximately 390 acres of proposed right-of-way and easements. This includes acquiring right-of-way from 39 property owners. Those potentially impacted property owners were informed by letter of this meeting. Contact information. If they have any questions about the project and potentially Rick Lively of 3B Consulting Services will represent the department during the right-of-way acquisition phase. Rick can be reached at 276-880-0121 to discuss specific right-of-way concerns. At this time, the proposed design will require the relocation of all residences and businesses along existing Route 460 from the swinging bridge north to the consignment shop west of the Labasa Fork River. All residences along Meeting House Branch are proposed to be relocated as well. In addition to a link to VDOT's right-of-way brochure, a number of documents are available on the virtual public involvement webpage that led you to this presentation, virginiadot.org/Poplar Creek Phase B. Please take time to review the documents prior to submitting your comments to VDOT. The project documents will be available on the website until the end of the public comment period on May 28th, 2021. Hard copies of the project documents may be reviewed in person by calling 276-880-0121 to schedule an appointment. FHWA, Federal Highway Administration, and VDOT drafted a document for the project to comply with the National Environmental Policy Act, known as NEPA. This document, referred to as a NEPA reevaluation, reviews, updates, and reaffirms conclusions documented in the project's previous NEPA documents, which include the 2001 Final Environmental Impact Statement and Record of Decision, which identified the preferred alternative for the project, which was approved in November 2001. It also includes the 2014 Environmental Studies document, which reviewed revisions to what was proposed in the original EIS. That document was approved in July of 2015. It also includes the 2017 reevaluation for Poplar Creek Phase A, the Quarter Q overlap Phase A section, which reassessed the first phase of this project under NEPA. The reevaluation is required due to the time that has passed since the original concepts were documented in the EIS and the changes to the surrounding environment that have occurred since that time. The reevaluation for this project matches the format and methods of analysis used for Phase A of the Poplar Creek project. VDOT is currently accepting comments on the document. Following close of the public comment period, VDOT will review the comments on the reevaluation, update the document accordingly, then seek to complete the reevaluation process with FHWA. The current project estimate is $200 million and includes $25 million for preliminary engineering, $13 million for right-of-way, and approximately $162 million for construction. Construction will occur in multiple work packages, therefore, not all right-of-way will be acquired when construction begins. Let's review the project timeline. We are currently in the design process, soliciting public feedback to assist with the final design of the project. Comments will be received, addressed, and presented to VDOT Bristol for review and approval. Once the design is approved, right-of-way acquisition will begin. Right-of-way acquisition is anticipated to begin during late spring, early summer of 2021 and take approximately 1 year to complete. Construction would begin in the fall of 2021 and wrap up in early 2026. Following review of the online documents for this public meeting, comments must be submitted to VDOT and received by May 28, 2021 to be considered as part of the public involvement process. We're now going to transition into the question and answer portion of the meeting. So how to ask your question tonight using the chat feature. Write your question using the chat function. We will read the questions aloud and answer them in the order received. If you prefer to state your question aloud, please type your name in the chat. When your name is called, you will be unmuted to ask your question. We will turn the chat function on and off in intervals so that we can manage all questions received. When the chat function is on, all participants will be able to see all the messages. We ask that you only write in questions. The chat function should not be used for any other type of commentary during the meeting. For those joining by phone, press *3 to raise your hand and to be added to the queue to ask your question. We will announce when it is your turn to ask your question, and we will unmute your phone line. You will hear your line has been unmuted, after which you will be able to ask your question. Once you have asked your question, press *3 again to lower your hand. You'll be muted again at this time to avoid echo and feedback due to the number of participants. So we're going to leave this slide up as we now open it for question and answer because it features a summary here at the bottom by WebEx how to use the chat function. Again, you can type your question or your name. And if you want to read it aloud yourself, you can just type your name and we'll call upon you. And by phone, you dial *3 to raise your hand. Now, I want to note that questions that are made or taken during this Q&A session will not be a part of the project record. But any question that you ask tonight that you would like to have added to the project record, you can do by one of 4 methods noted above, via telephone, email, traditional mail, or comment sheet, which is available at the project webpage. And we'll go over that again later. So this slide will remain up during the Q&A session for participants to write down contact information if desired. And we'll now start accepting comments via the chat or call-in method, and we'll let Michelle mediate those.
All right, Preston, we do have a question. Will we be able to get confirmation of any and all property that will be acquired by VDOT?
Yes. As I mentioned earlier, we're in the we would call the preliminary design phase of the project, which includes identifying which projects or which properties may be impacted by the project. Once we complete this milestone and we've received and responded to all the questions, at that point, VDOT will authorize us to begin acquisition of right-of-way. And once the right-of-way acquisition process formally starts, then Rick Lively and his team will be able to start providing offers to any impacted landowners. And those offers would include right-of-way plan sheets, which delineate the areas of acquisition and any areas that may remain. They also come with acreages for both right-of-way acquisition and easements. And so all those would be made to individual landowners as that process unfolds. The right-of-way plans are also part of the public record. If there's just an interested party, we'd be happy to share those when we reach that portion of the project. And if there are any specific questions, we do have a right-of-way exhibit, which is available on the project webpage, and which I could also share tonight if anyone has a specific question.
I don't see any questions just yet, Preston, but we'll be online if anybody thinks of one. Or if you want to raise your hand if you're on the phone too. So we will be alerted that you would like to ask a question verbally.
Okay. Well, while we're waiting, we do have a couple of more slides to share, and the question and answer session is certainly still open, but I do just want to share those with any of the attendees. So just as a reminder, next Tuesday, we will be holding the virtual public hearing. It's the location of design public hearing. It'll be on Tuesday, May the 18th at 5 o'clock, and you'll join through WebEx or by phone. You can watch it on YouTube. You would go to the same project webpage that you used today, which is the virginiadot.org/Poplar Creek Phase B. You can find login information and useful links there to join the meeting, and then all the project documents are there as well. So the hearing format will be a little different. The speakers will formally present our public hearing presentation and the NEPA reevaluation. And following that presentation, there'll be an opportunity to provide comments. If you'd like to sign up in advance, you can call ahead at 276-676-3322. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes to speak as an individual or 5 minutes if you're representing a group. And the question and answer session to follow, public comment if time allows. So we do have 2 hours allotted for that next Tuesday evening. And then again, just to recap, ways to provide those comments, which you can start today, certainly. The project information has been available since April 17th. And public comments on the NEPA reevaluation and proposed design must be submitted until May the 28th to formally be considered and included in the public record. Again, there are 4 different ways you can do that. And we'll review those. We'll hold that back up on the slide here as we wait for any more questions. Did we have a follow-up question, Michelle?
Yes, we do. Would Rick Lively be the person to talk to regarding specific properties? The family has several properties to be tentatively taken and will need some clarification once the process nears completion.
Sure. Well, at this stage, Rick is certainly available. Rick's the right-of-way manager. He'll be responsible for making the formal offers. But since we're in the design public hearing stage, I am the design manager. We're located in Lebanon, and I'm certainly available. The number there that we provided earlier, which was 276-880-0121. That's our office phone number. If you'd like to schedule an appointment, I'd be happy to sit down with any potentially impacted landowners and we can review the plans, talk a little bit more in detail and look at those specific parcels. And we're happy to do that. Of course, we can do that by phone. We can do it remotely if it's preferred. And then answer any questions you may have. So I'd be glad to do that. But I would recommend probably now just to reach out to me at this stage. And then if there are questions about the right-of-way process, we can involve Rick as well.
Preston, there currently aren't any new questions. We can stay on for, let's say, till around 5:30. And if anybody has any questions they'd like to ask, just please do so before the end, or use one of the 4 methods Preston has on the screen. If after the meeting you think of something you'd like to ask or a comment you'd like to make official.
And Michelle, are you able to respond in the chat box to make sure that the person asking the question has that phone number?
Yes.
And the number is listed in the advertisement as well, but we just want to make sure you have everything you need to get in touch with us, and we're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Also, if you would like a call back, you can put in the chat just to VDOT, and only I would see it and could give that to the team to give you a call. So you can also put those in the chat as well.
Just as a reminder, on the screen, you see the 4 ways to submit your comments, and you certainly don't have to make the comment aloud in this forum. Perfectly acceptable to submit the comment via phone or email or traditional mail or the comment sheet. You don't have to say it out loud or participate here in order for your comment to be considered. So just remind you those 4 methods, and we need to receive those by May the 28th. Well, I'm going to mute my line. We're going to stay on for another 5 to 10 minutes just to leave this open in case anyone joins late or anyone online has a call or has a question that comes to mind. We're happy to answer anything or share any information we have. But thank you all for participating. And again, we're going to hang out here for another 5 to 10 minutes just to make sure we don't have any more questions. And we certainly appreciate your time and attention this evening. All right, well, we've reached 5:30 here. We haven't had any comments in the past 10 minutes or so. Just want to ask for a last call. Anyone on the meeting like to ask a question before we call it a day? All right, well, thank you all very much for joining, taking time to participate in our public meeting, and we hope you can join us next Tuesday as well. So thank you very much.